People. Que pasa, sakpa, say what they do. Welcome to Crime Time News, where the difference is in the meds. First thing is popping in the news. Jamaica. How low can we sink when we see that innocent people, hardworking people, businessmen are targeted just like the criminals, just like the gunmen, just like the dons? As a matter of fact, maybe it is 50-50 where innocent persons are losing their life just like the criminals. Now people, I am speaking about an incident that occurred in a place called Great River. Great River, it is in Hanover. And a man, his name is Mr. Carr, more affectionately known as Spider-Man. He was taken out at his business establishment. Mr. Carr owns, operates, and manages a place. However, at about 6:20 or so a.m. in the morning, when he was prepping, doing his work, the residents, the neighbors heard all sorts of commotion, all sorts of loud explosion. Them call the pawpaw, summons the pawpaw. When the pawpaw reached, they realized that Mr. Carr, Mr. Spider-Man, he was suffering from X amount of cornhole. He was rushed to the place of recovery, however, people, because he got hit mostly in the upper body, he succumbed to his injuries. Now, people, like me say, the theme, innocent people losing their life. This man does not have any sorts of gang affiliation. This man does not have any sorts of criminal history. This man is well known in the community. This man hardworking, like me say. However, what this man probably suffers from is the bad mind syndrome of people that might be his competitor. What he also suffers from is that you do not have to do anything in these days for people to take you out. It could be simply because you are successful, simply because you might be regarded as some sort of competitor. So therefore, persons figure that, listen, if me can't keep up and him a make all of the money and me there broke like dog, why don't I just take him out? That way, the frame of thought might be the people that will respect him, the people that like his business is going to come over by me and then support my business, and I am going to be just like him. So people, what I am speaking about, people want one. They want one of what you are doing. They want to be exactly like you. However, what they don't realize is the customer service, the respect that people have for you based on the work that you've put in, based on your personality, based on the fact that you show or you give respect. So therefore, respect goes back a very long way. However, what we have to also understand, in a lot of cases, it is sometimes family, friendly fire. It is sometimes somebody that you're in some sort of relationship with. That person is very bitter. That person is very vindictive. So therefore, that person set up your own life and get you taken out just because they got in their feelings. So now you no longer have any sorts of feelings. You are DEAD. So people, don't you realize how tragic Jamaica has become? It is as if everybody is on edge. The criminal them, and justifiably so. Also the regular average Joe, the average Jane in Jamaica, business person. They don't know who is watching them. They don't know who have any sorts of problem with them for whatever reason. People, it takes nothing, none at all, for you to lose your life in Jamaica these days. Very sad, tragic situation. Point blank and period. Now, the next thing that is popping in the news, it is called Jamaica is one big mob. Jamaica is one big gangster country. Criminals run Jamaica. Criminals in high and low places. Criminals in low places, the dons, the shotters, the hitmen, the choppers, the thief, 2-foot post, 2-foot hyena. Criminals in high places, politicians, MPs, lawyers, police, real estate agents. Now people, I am specifically speaking about a lady. Her name is Mrs. Mavado. Miss Mavado is a real estate agent / lawyer. She dibbles and dabbles in both. However, she has been disbanded from the Jamaica Lawyer Association, wherever them name. However, people, this lady is still doing all sorts of damage. And her latest, most high-profile person in which she swindled or scammed in excess of $30 million from, his name is Mavado. You might know him. Classic, legendary artist. Mavado. David Constantine Brooks, I think his name is. Now, people, when we speak about Mavado, we are speaking about an artist that has had a few run-ins with the Popo. One specific run-in, it includes or involves his son in an incident that occurred in the vicinity of Cassava Piece, where it is said that there was some sorts of altercation. Mavado had to take for himself, pretty much run from the scene to save his life. However, a couple of days or months later, his son was implicated in the takeaway of that person that basically blazed up after his father. So therefore, his son was charged, his son was convicted, his son got life imprisonment. Ever since that, maybe about 4 years ago, Mavado took for himself. He has no longer been in Jamaica. People were wondering, people were pondering, is there going to be any sorts of warrant for Mavado? Based on all indications, there were not any sorts of warrant, so therefore he was scot-free. However, he decided for his best interest and musical career, because we see Jamaica corrupt, he is going to keep away from Jamaica. However, since then, he was in some sorts of real estate negotiation with the lady, lawyer / real estate agent, Mrs. Mavado. Mrs. Mavado sold him some sorts of property in which she did not have any sorts of authorization from the legal land or property owner to sell. So therefore, she swindled Mavado in excess of 30 million Jamaican dollars. People, the last time that I checked, that is about 200 and something thousand US dollar. So people, we are talking about Boko cash, some big amount of change. Now people, here is a twist and turn as it pertains to that. Because Mavado is caught between a rock and a hard place and did not want to come back to Jamaica. Mrs. Mavado and her lawyer, I think his name is Christopher Townsend, they went to the courts, and because of some strange technicality, they concocted some sort of way in which the judge ruled that, listen, Mavado cannot testify as on any sorts of social media platform, Zoom, because Mavado is wanted. Now people, remember, Mavado's case, his son's case, was 4 years ago. There was not any sorts of warrant for him. The Popo did not give any sorts of indication. Yes, they did say that he was a person of interest. However, he was not a suspect. That case, as it pertains to his son and other persons, have been concluded. It has ended. The suspect was locked up, the alleged suspect. The suspect is jailed. The suspect is doing time, life, as a matter of fact. So therefore, how is it that in all of these 4 years, Mavado was not a person of interest? However, in this case, as it pertains to the lawyer, Mrs. Mavado, real estate agent, and their lawyer, Christopher Townsend, somehow them contact somebody at the Constant Spring Popo station which had Mavado's case, and Mavado is now a wanted man. There is a warrant, official warrant, now out for Mavado. Now people, when we check the statistics It is more than coincidental. Something is into something. Something is very fishy as it pertains to this. Because in our 4 years, there were no sorts of warrant, no sorts of interest. However, after 4 years, when the case is pretty much cold, when the case is pretty much concluded, there is a warrant issued. So people, my point is this. If this does not show a clear indication of how corrupt the judges in Jamaica are, the real estate agents in Jamaica are, the criminal defense lawyers in Jamaica are, and more specifically, the people that are supposed to serve and protect and make sure that people get justice. I am speaking about the Constant Spring Popo Station, its investigators, its detective. If it does not show that everybody is intertwined, and people, I am sure that you've always heard me speak about this body club that exists in Jamaica. People, it is not a myth like Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. People, it is real. Jamaica is really a corrupted place, and I am speaking about corruption in high and low places. In this case, we are speaking about in high places. We are talking about the judge. We are talking about the Constant Spring Popo Station. We are talking about Miss Mavado. I am speaking about Christopher Townsend. Now, people, Mavado made a post on social media and he exposed the situation. People may talk about paragraph of paragraph. He was venting his frustration as it pertains to the rules and laws and justice system in Jamaica, or lack thereof. And people, it is so true. So therefore, this man, even though I am not trying to defend whatever his son did, if his son is guilty or not, because his son's case is on appeal. However, the fact that there was clearly some sort of violation, there was clearly some sort of crooked act by this lawyer, Miss Mavado. And people, what makes this even worse is the fact that Mavado said that they were in negotiation, Mrs. Mavado and their lawyer, Christopher Townsend. And they clearly indicated that they were going to make all sorts of preparation to get the money back to him. However, people, it seems as if there has been a change of heart, twists and turns in this case. It is swinging back and forth like some sorts of pendulum. So people, it is quite obvious that Miss Mavado, her lawyer, Christopher Townsend, and also the Constant Spring Popo investigators or detective have conspired against Mavado, and they did some sorts of paperwork to get him on some technicality to pretty much make sure that he keeps away from this case, make sure that this money will never be returned. So people, who do you think is going to be the beneficiary of this $30 million? People, yes, the lawyer, Christopher Townsend, Mrs. Mavado, and also whoever is involved from Constant Spring Popo Station, and they are getting the backative of the system, the judge in Jamaica. People, it is very pathetic. And even remember, Mrs. Mavado, I did a video the other day, and it showed her walking up and down in an alfred tree with one slippers on her foot, one on her hand, acting as if she is crazy. However, people, the only thing that is crazy is the system in Jamaica and the people and the level of corruption that exists in high and especially in very low places. However, people, in this case, in a very high place, point blank and period. Now, people, while I am on the topic of dancehall artist, Vybz Kartel. Now, the other day, Vybz Kartel was transferred from Horizon to Tower Street. And based on the information, it is because of some interview that his wife-to-be, a girl from Turkey or one of those places, did with Fox 5 News in New York. She said that she went to the institution and she had several visits. She has been visiting from 2015 or so. So therefore, this is nothing new. It is within the penal system policy or protocol that you can have visit family or close friends once they are authorized. So people, when we look at this, we have to ask the question, wasn't the visit authorized by whoever is in charge, a relevant authority in the penal system? Wasn't the visits authorized We also saw that Fox 5 did an interview with Vybz Kartel. Wasn't there authorization also from somebody in the upper echelon of the prison system? So therefore, somebody authorized it, somebody signed off on it. So therefore, Kartel would not have violated any sorts of thing. Now people, what has his lawyer, Mr. Buchanan, fuming is the fact that his client was transferred from one institution, which is the institution that has the medical facilities for persons that have health condition. We've seen several situations on social media in which Vybz Kartel was rushed to the hospital, at least several. So therefore, we know that he is not 100% physically good in the best of health. He has all sorts of health condition. Now people, here's a reality of the penal system in Jamaica. Whenever you house any sort of criminal, you are responsible for that criminal, whether that person is considered as the big bad wolf, which Vybz Kartel is. So therefore, if the place that he is at is because of his medical condition, why is it now that there is some sorts of knee-jerk reaction, meaning that as soon as those interviews were done, them start to shuffle up the place? I mean, the policy is the policy. If you, as a policymaker, allow whatever happened, being the interviews, the visit, therefore you have nobody else to blame. If you, as a policymaker, allow Vybz Kartel to record songs from the institution which they claim his case is still pending, he should not be recording, then you have nobody to blame. Somebody obviously signed off on that. So therefore, if you yourself is corrupted, why now you want to blame Vybz Kartel as a big bad wolf? And people, I am not trying to say that Vybz Kartel is no innocent person or he is guilty, me just say. You have policies in place. However, because of your licky-lickiness, whenever you get caught now, you want to have some sort of sudden or knee-jerk reaction where you're going to transfer this man to a facility that you know is said to be the worst penal institution in the whole of Jamaica. And people, just listen to this. The fact is that all of these institutions are SHITTY. However, if you fall into the category of being the worst, and then you're housing somebody with all sorts of medical problem, documented medical problem, don't you see that you're a lawsuit waiting to happen, or either that you want somebody for DEAD in your institution? People, me no know. So anyways, people, like me say, thanks once again for checking out my video. I realize you have options. If you appreciate straightforward news, to the point, on topic, no sorts of gimmicks, no sorts of beating around the bush, show your appreciation by liking, commenting, sharing, and also subscribing to my channel. That is the way that YouTube promotes videos to like-minded, sensible people like yourself. Bless up.